about resistance bands are these bands in particular come in different sizes, so they can be a little bit more stretchy and a little bit more firm to make it more difficult or easier. And then also too, to make it more difficult, you can always just shorten the band by, wrapping it around your foot more than once, right, like that. Or if it's good the way it is, you can just keep it where you're standing on it. So the first exercise that I'm going to show is for your biceps, and basically what you can do is just stand on the band and then do nice bicep curls, keeping your elbows close to your side and just coming up. And then, so a set would be the number of exercises. So like I said, 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 10, so I would do about 10 on each arm for one set, and then take a break. But very easy, and like I said, you can see if I wrap it around my foot and shorten the band, then it's quite a bit more challenging.
Ever have a band break on you when you're doing that?
No, I haven't. So, but it's always good, especially if you're using the bands for a long period of time. Always inspect them, before you do any exercise too. But no, I haven't. Some of the bands at the gym start to wear out, but that's multiple people using them on a daily basis. So I would say these will last you a very long time.
Do those come in different densities or strengths or whatever, however you would?
Yep, you can order some in different strengths. Yep, but a lot of times you can just see like at Walmart or whatever they sell them, and they might just sell one in a pack. So I would just look and see what they have. But yeah, they're pretty inexpensive too. I would say if you wanted to have like a home gym per se, the things that I would recommend the most would be resistance bands and a stability ball. You can do so many exercises with the resistance bands and the stability ball that you're really going to hit all the major muscle groups, and it's going to be relatively inexpensive. So
what do you recommend for resistance bands? Whatever they call the strength on them, or?
Yeah, I would just say, it's really kind of difficult because it's not really marked. I just kind of know when I buy a package it says, pink is the toughest, whatever kind of pounds it is. I would recommend in the beginning just getting like an average one, and usually if you get them at Walmart, it's probably just going to be one, or if you order them online, they'll say. That way, because an average type one you can make a little bit tougher by, shortening it and wrapping it, and then when you get, if you want another one, then you can certainly order it. But like I said, these I got with a package of workout videos, and it came with a few different ones. So, but yeah, anything that's just kind of middle ground, because you can always make it tougher. And then triceps. This one you can do on a chair, at a desk. It actually is probably my favorite tricep exercise. If I'm training someone, I typically do this with them, and or if I'm even at the gym, I'll do this. But basically, it's a seated dip. Let's see what would be the best way. Probably, I'll do it like right here. So you really want to come out and bend, and then just drop down, and making sure that you're just, using your triceps to push yourself up. The thing about this is when you first start doing it, it is a lot of weight, so your wrists might hurt a little bit. So just watch for that. And if you do it on a chair, you can make it a little bit more difficult by straightening out your legs, so then you're lowering and raising more of your body weight than if your knees are bent. And then again, easier with a chair, you can lift your legs too. So then both of your legs are off the ground, and then you're lifting even more weight in that exercise. So yes, one of my favorite ones you can do anywhere, because you don't even need a resistance band.
Fine, I'll meet you at your house. We'll try that tonight, okay?
Because everybody wants a nice toned triceps, and I find that works the best for me. So, and now back to the resistance bands. To work your back, you can do a couple of different things here. Again, with the standing on the bands, and this one I might actually start with it wrapped. So, make it a little tougher. And then, oops. There we go. Slightly bent knees, but not over your toes. And then row. So just pull up, with your elbows coming straight back. And really when you do this exercise, you want to think of concentrating about bringing those two bones in your back, like in your shoulders, like together, nice and tight as possible. The nice thing about this one is you can do this seated too if you would like. So same thing, like wrapping it around and pulling. So a lot of times if you've seen like those rowing machines, especially like popular I think in the 80s, you can do the same thing. And then let's see. Oh, and then to work your chest, push-ups are always the best exercise, but I personally don't like push-ups because I find them to be pretty challenging, so I try and modify them by doing it on a resistance ball, or I'll do some, traditional push-ups, and then I'll go down on my knees. Another thing that you can do when you're doing push-ups is you can do them against the wall or against a desk, so you're just kind of coming like this and down and pushing up. So when you're doing it this way, you're not lifting as much of your body weight, so it makes it a little bit easier than just if you were to do it on the floor. But again, ball, wall, on your knees, great forms. And once you get stronger, then you can move to your toes and do the traditional push-ups. And then for your shoulders, again with the resistance bands in this one, I can do standing too, but you can do this seated in a chair and just take the resistance band and loop it underneath the chair. You'll see that doing it standing like this makes it a little bit more challenging because the resistance band has farther to go than if I were just sitting and it was right under the chair. But you would just come up and press above your head. And then making sure, so you can see it's very challenging. So making sure that when you do it that your arms come a little bit in front of your head. And since you are lifting above your head like that, making sure that you contract your stomach, keep it tight, because that'll protect your lower back. And you can also, if you wanted to do it, certainly 1 foot at a time and give myself more leeway with the band so it's a little bit easier. And then you can switch. Let's see. And then the lower body, so your quads, glutes, hamstrings, calves, everything that we really want to work. Lunges and squats are going to be the best thing. Again, I hate them because they work, right? They're going to be quite a bit more challenging, but they're fun, and I find that when I do lunges and squats and stuff that I am having fun, so I'll do more, and then the next day I'm like, oh, I did too much and I can barely sit. But so like I said, everything with moderation, especially when you're getting started. So when you're doing a squat, just the traditional squat, making sure that your feet are about shoulder width apart, and sit back like you're sitting in a chair. So you want to keep sure that you can see your toes in front of your knees, and just sit down and come back up. And you can also, if you have a desk chair or a chair at home, you can keep it behind you and just lightly tap on it and come back up, and lightly tap and come back up. The plie squat is more like, I would think of like a typical ballerina type move, is where you're coming out and in like this. And this one is really nice because you contract your inner thigh while you're doing it, so you get a lot of inner thigh work, which a lot of women like to work their thighs, so I find that this is a good exercise as well. And again, when you're keeping your feet out, making sure that your knees do not go past your toes like that, because we all want to save our knees, and those are always a little bit weaker, so we want to take care of those. And come up. And then like lunges, again, the traditional, just coming forward and down, again keeping the knee over the ankle, so you can step forward and do a lunge, or you can do it backwards and challenge this muscle, this leg. Lunges, you can also step to the side and step back to the side. So there's quite a few ways that you can do the lunge that will get you a lot of good lower body exercise. And then, I'm getting out of breath talking about exercising. And then the calves. The one thing that I like to do with calves is the toe raise, so you're just coming up on your toes, and a lot of times I need to, like I said earlier with the no coordination, have to hold on to something so you can brace yourself. And when you're doing a set, just not letting your heels touch the floor, let them get close but not all the way. And this one's nice because you can do it anywhere. I can go like this too, so on your toes. If you're standing in line, brushing your teeth, you know, just at work, you can always get in a good set of calf raises there. And again, if you're like me, you might just want to find a wall or a friend to hold on to. But lastly, just the abs, which are important, and these actually require a chair, so I will have this. Ab exercises are always probably one of the most things that I get requested to show people how to do at the gym. So I know probably, oh my gosh, enough ab exercises to get you a different ab exercise every day of the month, just because there's so many different things that you can do. One thing that's very easy to do that you can do while you're seated is just like a seated crunch. So contract your abs, like really sucking in tight like you would be doing sit-ups on the floor, and just get the nice crunch. And if you want, you can certainly bring your hands behind your head, or you can just, you know, crunch. And really the important thing when you're doing any ab exercise is you really just want to suck your stomach in tight as possible, contract those abs, and think about bringing your hips and ribs together. So just making that space as tight as possible, and you'll really get a good workout on the abs. And then probably one of my favorite things, and I just call it the knee pull-in, because that's what you do, is just sitting on the edge of a chair or a sturdy bench and just pulling your abs, or pulling your knees in, like this. And I like this one. My husband plays softball in the summer, and so a lot of times when I go and watch him, I can just get a quick ab workout in on the bleachers, you know, because you're sitting there for like an hour. But yeah, so that's a pretty easy one, or I guess not easy, but a pretty good one that you can do. And you can certainly do it the more beginner version of foot on the floor, just because when you're doing that, it requires quite a bit more balance, like leaning and holding. But that's pretty much it as far as the exercises. Like I said, they're, you know, pretty straightforward. They can be done anywhere. If you have a few minutes, you can certainly work on one body part, or maybe if you have 10 or 15, you can target your upper body, and then when you get another break, you can target your lower body. I don't know, does anyone have any questions on any of those or anything?